Moving over to the next point, it generates 8-bit input output addresses. So it can access to raise to the power 8 to 56 input output ports. So we are having actually two types of addressings of input output devices, out of which first is called as peripheral mapped input output, and other is called memory mapped input output. Memory mapped input output. So for the time being, let us suppose that we are using one of these techniques. For that one of techniques, it will be having, which is peripheral mapped input output. For peripheral mapped input output scheme, if we want to connect, suppose, number of input output devices to our microprocessor 8085, then the number of these devices simultaneously which can be connected becomes equal to 2 raised to the power 8, that is equal to 256 devices, input output devices. Why it is so? Because this processor is having only 8 data lines. So with 8 data lines we can address up to 256 devices only. Okay, it provides 5 hardware interrupts. I already told you in the next lecture, we already discussed that we are going to study this in detail in the coming slides. So moving over to the next point. This is the 8085 pin diagram. We already discussed that it is having 40 pins in total. 8085 is having 40 pins in total, out of which first two pins X1 and X2 are used to connect a crystal oscillator between these two pins. So this crystal oscillator is actually that oscillator which is used to generate that 3.07 megahertz of frequency. So the crystal oscillator is connected between these two pins. On the other hand, if we segregate these pins into some specific groups, then we can say that there is one group here, this group, which is AD0 to AD7, AD0 to AD7, or in some books, vice versa has been written for this, AD7 to AD0. It is similar, one and same thing. It means A here means A is abbreviated as address, D is abbreviated as data. So what it means that we are combining address as well as data lines together. So this single pin, for example, this pin number 12, if we talk about this pin number 12, it can be used as A naught pin as well as D naught pin, because AD naught has been written here. So this pin is also used to have a pin which is used to address one bit of address. On the other hand, it is also used to transfer one bit of data, and that bit is actually D0. So for example, we are having D0 to D7 bits here. So this D0 is actually this pin number 12. On the other hand, if we are also having data A0 to A7, for example, 8 bit of address, A0 to A7 of address, this address. So A0 is actually this pin number 12. So these pins 12 to 19 are, what we can say, used as address pins as well as data pins. Why? Because these are multiplexed pins. Multiplexing has been done here. So we are using one multiplexer here, which is actually multiplexing address as well as data, and providing us either address or data, either address or data. So at what time we will get address and what time we will get data, that will depend upon one another pin which is called as ALE here, address latch enable. This pin is called as address latch enable, which enables the address out of these multiplexed pins, which enables the data out of these multiplex pins as well. So depending upon the requirement and depending upon the clock cycle, when and where we require to have address from out of these pins, that address can be demultiplexed using this address latch enable pin. On the other hand, when and where we require data out of these multiplex address data bus, we can demultiplex that with the help of this address latch enable. So for the time being, you keep in your minds that these address data pins, which are called as lower order address data bus. Why lower order? Because AD0 to AD7 pins are multiplexed. On the other hand, A8 to A15 pins are not multiplexed. So whenever we have to address a 16-bit location, because the address of every location in 885 microprocessor is of 16 bits. So 16 pin address can be accessed with the help of 16 address lines, out of which the 8 address lines can be demultiplexed from 80 to 87 pins. On the other hand, other 8 address lines are here for the pins 21 to 28. So it totally becomes A0 to A15 address, which is equal to 16-bit address. Okay, and whenever we have addressed that particular location, for example, this is memory, and we have addressed this location with the help of particular address of this location, then we can access 8 bit of data stored in that particular location with the help of these lines, which can be used as data lines also. For the time being, you have to remember each and every pin of this 885 pin diagram. It is not very hard to keep it remember, because 16 pins are just for address and data. So that's why it is easy to remember this pin diagram. X1, X2 are for crystal. This is reset out. We will discuss each and every pin in the coming slides. AD0 to AD7. I think firstly you should draw this pin diagram on your copies. Then and then only you will be able to understand each and every pin of this microprocessor. So firstly, take your copies and note down the pin diagram of 885. So I am moving over to that slide. Are you able to see 885 pin diagram? Hello. Okay, please keep on drawing. In short, you need not to draw means write this description. You only draw x1, x2, so on, this part only. Did not to draw the blocks here. Only draw the pins. and write down this abbreviation for each pin. I am giving you 5 minutes for drawing this. Then and then only you will be able to understand. So, okay, let's now move ahead over to the description of this. AD0 to AD7, I already told you that it is multiplexed address data lines, and you, I think, better know the meaning of what is multiplexing actually. Multiplexing means many to one. So we are having here A0 to A7 and D0 to D7. What we are getting at the output of this multiplexer, sorry, demultiplexer, if we are going to demultiplex it, these pins, then what we are going to get at the output, we are going to get only either A0 to A7 or D0 to D7. The reverse of this is called as multiplexing, which is called as mux. So what we have done in the multiplexing, we have actually combined, we are only having 8 lines, we are only having 8 wires, but we are using these 8 wires, 8 lines for address as well as for data. On the other hand, if we would not be using this multiplexing scenario here, then we would require 16 separate lines for accessing address separately and for accessing data separately. So, so as to reduce the complexity of the circuit, what we do, we sometimes use this multiplexing and demultiplexing techniques. A8 to A15 is the tri-stated high order address lines. So this is a bus which is tri-stated higher order address lines. What it means, what is the meaning of tri-stated? It is having three states. The lines are having three states. First state is called as high. You already know the meaning of high, means logic 1. You already know the meaning of low, that is logic 0. And the third state is called as high impedance state. High impedance state, which is represented by letter Z. So high impedance state, what it means, that whenever these wires are not transferring either 1 or 0, and there is not any transfer of current through these wires, okay, either what we can say that these wires are actually connected from this one point to another. So this point A and point B is having connection of this wire, suppose this wire X, but we are not transferring, we are not providing 0 here, we are not providing 1 here also. So this line between A to B points, that is this line X, will work as high impedance line. At uh, at that time, nothing will pass through this line. So whenever nothing would be passed through this line, means high impedance means resistance से relation है इसका. So whenever there is high impedance at a wire, what it means, that that wire will pass nothing. That wire will resist everything. So that's why it is called as high impedance state. Whenever we are not providing either 1 or 0 to that line, and that line is working as high impedance line, that then that state is called as high impedance state. ALE, we already discussed that ALE is address latch enable. It is an output signal actually. So for example, we are having a microprocessor here. So this ALE pin, which is pin number 30. So this pin number 30 will move away from this microprocessor. So that's why it is called as output line. So ALE is an output line which is actually provided to a demultiplexer, where that demultiplexer demultiplexes address and data multiplexed bus. So this address data lines which are multiplexed, these are actually demultiplexed with the help of this address latch enable pin. Another pins S0, S1. So you can see the pin number of S0 and S1, 29 and 33 respectively. 29 is S0, 33 is S1. So these are actually the status signals which are used to indicate that which type of operation we are performing. These signals S0 and S1 are used in combination with input output slash memory bar signal. So when these three signals are combined together, these three signals provide us an information about the status of microprocessor, that which type of operation that microprocessor is currently performing. So I will show you the table regarding this in the coming slides. For the time being, let us move over to the next pin, which is RD bar. This is RD bar actually. You already know what is bar. Pin number 32 is RD bar. Pin number 32 is RD. It is actually whole bar. So you can correct here, it is whole bar. What it means that these signals are active low signals. So whenever there is bar over a signal, then what we can say that this kind of signal is active low signal. So what it means that this signal will be activated only when we provide a zero here. So this signal is in the activation state whenever there is a zero for this RD signal. Okay, let's move ahead. WR bar, pin number 31. It is again WR whole bar. It is pin number 31. It is again active low output signal. Okay, RD bar is also an output signal. So these are coming out of that microprocessor. So whenever microprocessor wants to write some data onto the memory connected onto the uh, hard memory connected to that microprocessor, then it will activate this signal towards that memory device, and then only the data will be copied from the microprocessor onto that memory. Okay, so WR bar signal, which is pin number 31, is again active low output signal which is used to write data onto the memory or input output device, whichever has been connected to the that particular location. So suppose we are having this microprocessor here, 8085, and we are also having suppose one memory connected here, and we are having one input output device connected here. So let's suppose that we are activating this input output device by addressing this input output device with the help of address lines. So these are actually 16 address lines, 16-bit address lines. So whenever we will provide a specified address to the microprocessor 8085, it will move over to that particular location, and suppose at that particular location we have connected an input output device. So the data from microprocessor CPU, that is this microprocessor, will be copied from this microprocessor 8085 will be copied onto this input output device. So it cannot be input device because we have to write onto this. So this can be an output device. Okay, we can only write on to an output device. We cannot write onto an input device because input device is used to provide input to a microprocessor. So we can means write with the help of this input device on this CPU. We will provide some instruction to the CPU with the help of input device. On the other hand, if we have to write some data from CPU to any device, so that can be only an output device. Next pin is ready pin. You will be separately asked in the question paper or in the final examination about these pins of 885 microprocessors, that what is the meaning of, what is the function of this ready pin, what is the pin of trap pin, what is the function of RD bar, WR bar, and so on. So you have to means study these pins, these each and every pin separately. What is the function of this each and every pin? Ready pin, READY, ready pin is pin number 35 in the 885 microprocessor. So this pin number 35 is actually an output signal again, which is used to check the status of the output device, whether that microprocessor is ready to have an output on it or not. So suppose we have connected this input output or output device to this 885 microprocessor. See this CPU, this 885 microprocessor will generate ready signal toward this output device to check whether this output device is capable to have an output on this or not, or the microprocessor has to wait for some time. Because for example, we have connected, this is 8085 microprocessor, and we have connected one printer to this 8085 microprocessor, which is again an output device. So the microprocessor 8085 will firstly check the status of this printer using this ready pin. So it will activate this pin number 35 so as to get the status of this printer. So if this printer will be ready, it will in turn generate a signal that it is ready to have an output on this. On the other hand, if suppose this printer would be printing something currently, then it would tell the 885 microprocessor that it has to wait for some time so as to get the printer ready to print something. Okay, so this ready signal is actually used to get the status, used to check the status of any output device connected to this microprocessor. Trap, very important. One, what we can say, uh, one process which is called as interrupt is actually a phenomenon. For example, you are driving a car. What is the meaning of interrupts? Actually, I am going to elaborate. I am going to discuss about that here. We are driving a car, for example, or any of you is driving a car, and suppose we are driving a car at 60 kilometer per hour. At 60 kilometer per hour. So what you are doing, you are driving a car or you are driving a vehicle at 60 kilometer per hour speed, and it is a straight road actually. So your speed is actually constant. You are driving at this speed constantly. At once you see on the road that an animal is crossing the road at this point here. So what you will do, what your system will do, what your brain will do, it will get signal with the help of your organs, that is eyes. Your eyes will see that an animal is moving from this point to this point, it is crossing the road. So your eyes will provide signal to your brain that you have to stop, or you have to make the speed of your car, you have to lower down the speed of your car to, for example, 20 kilometer per hour, so that from this point to this point you will be capable to easily drive your car, and the animal will be easily capable to move from this point to this point. Okay, so what your brain is doing actually, your brain is interrupting the speed of your car. So how the speed of car is being interrupted, how your constant speed is being interrupted, that is being interrupted by this animal. So upon seeing this animal, your brain will generate a signal towards your legs that you have to, means lower the pressure at the accelerator using your legs. So then and then only your carburetor will be able to, means slow down or lower down the flow of fuel from the fuel tank. So what you will do, that you will lower the pressure on your legs, on your foot, with the help of, by the signal generated by your brain to your legs. So that is called as interrupt. So this animal is interrupting, and with the help of interruption due to this animal, you are lowering down the speed of your car. The similar operation will perform with the help of interrupts actually. Getting any doubt regarding this? If you have any doubt, you can ask me there and then. Okay. Now we will take some another scenario here. Let's let's suppose now one animal was crossing this road, and what is the second scenario? That a man was crossing a road, a human being was crossing the road. So what is your priority? That will depend upon that which type of, means either an animal is crossing the road or a man is crossing the road. So what you will do, if an animal would be crossing the road, you will only lower down the speed. On the other hand, if a man would be or a woman would be crossing the road, you will try to not only lower down the speed of your car, but you will also try to stop the car there and then, because a, a man or a woman is at higher priority than that of an animal for a human being. ठीक है? Getting? So this is called as the priorities for an interrupt. So these priorities are actually decided by the human beings whenever we are driving a car. On the other hand, these priorities for a microprocessor are decided by the manufacturer of that microprocessor. Manufacturer means the software designer of that microprocessor, the operating system designer of that microprocessor. So for interrupting a microprocessor, for interrupting that particular microprocessor, it is having some definite set of pins, hardware pins available on the pin diagram of that microprocessor. It is also having some software interrupts available. So here, because we are discussing about the hardware structure of the 8085 microprocessor, so we are discussing here what it means, that we are discussing only the hardware pins, hardware interrupts of this microprocessor. So this trap is actually a hardware pin which can be touched, which is the tangible part, which we can touch actually. So this is called as, these are called as hardware interrupts. So this pin number 6, pin number 7, pin number 8, 9 and 10. These are the hardware interrupts. On the other hand, pin number 11, INTA bar, is the acknowledgement for these interrupts. Okay. So pin number trap is pin number 6, RST 7.5, RST 6.5, RST 5.5 are pin number 7, 8 and 9 respectively. INTR is pin number 10. So let's move ahead. All these pins are actually the interrupts. So how many interrupts are there? There are 5 hardware interrupts. What we can say, what we can conclude from these pins, that there are 5 hardware interrupts available in microprocessor 8085. And what are these hardware interrupts? First is called as trap, second is called as RST 7.5. It is abbreviated as restart 7.5. Then RST 6.5, RST 5.5, and last is called as INTR. In acknowledgement of these interrupts, the microprocessor will generate one signal which is called as INTA bar. So this signal will be an output signal. On the other hand, these interrupts are the input signals, because we are interrupting the microprocessor. So the microprocessor can only be interrupted if we will provide some input signal to that. So that input signal is provided with the help of input pins, and those pins are these trap, RST 7.5 to 5.5 and INTR pin. Next pin is input output slash memory bar. Input output slash memory bar is actually pin number 34, I think. Yes, pin number 34. So I already told you that S0, S1 and input output slash memory bar. These three pins are used combinedly to check the status of microprocessor that which operation it is performing. So if we would separately discuss input output slash memory bar, but it means that memory bar, whenever there is one at this pin number 34, what it means that input output operation has been invoked, input output operation. So the status means which operation it is performing. It is performing operation. The microprocessor is performing operation on some input output device. On the other hand, if this signal is zero, if there is 34 on this, if there is zero on this pin number 34, what it means? Zero means active low, और active low कौन सा signal है? That is M bar. What it means that it is performing some memory operation. Microprocessor is performing some memory operation. So I already told you that you can connect memory as well as input output devices to your microprocessor. So what operation it is performing at that particular instant of time, that will be that status we can get with the help of this input output slash memory bar pin. Next two pins are hold and HLDA, which are 39 and 38. Hold is pin number 39, HLDA is pin number 38. These pins are actually used whenever we are using DMA devices, direct memory access devices. This hold signal is an input signal. HLDA is the acknowledgement for hold, which is an output signal. So this is output signal. So when microprocessor receives this input signal, which is hold signal at pin number 39 of it, it completes the current machine cycle and stops execution of the next instruction. So for example, DMA devices are the direct memory access devices which do not require the use of CPU for its operations. So whenever suppose we are having microprocessor, we are having this microprocessor and we have connected one DMA device, direct memory access device. For example, we have connected a pen drive here. For the time being, for the sake of understanding, let us suppose that we connect a pen drive to our laptop and our laptop is having microprocessor 885. So we can consider this pen drive as a DMA device, direct memory access device. It only requires the accessing of memory of this laptop, of this microprocessor only. So what it will do, it will generate a request towards microprocessor 885, which will be the input signal hold for this microprocessor. With the help of this hold signal, the microprocessor will execute the current instruction. Suppose it is performing some execution of some particular program, some particular instructions. So suppose it is executing this instruction right now. So as soon as the microprocessor 885 will receive this hold signal from DMS device pen drive, it will execute this instruction completely and it will stop the execution of the next instruction. So it will stop actually here. Why it will stop? Because DMA device is actually seeking the access of this 885 microprocessor buses, data buses, because it has to transfer some data onto this device or from this device to this DMA device. So for that purpose, the microprocessor will generate HLDA signal using pin number 38, HLDA, hold acknowledgement, that it is ready to provide the access of the data and address buses to this DMA device. So it will relinquish the means the control of all the buses from itself, and it will provide all the access to the buses to this DMA device. The access of all the buses to this DMA device. Buses means lines, data lines, address lines, control lines. So for that purpose, whenever we are means connecting a DMA device to our microprocessor 8085, at that time we use this hold and HLDA signal. So you have to study these pins from a particular means from a book of your reference. So I have already told you that Gaunkar is a good book. It is a textbook as well as you can refer it also. Or I am also having one another book in soft copy. The Gaunkar book I am also having in soft form available with me, but it is having very larger size. It is I think of 100 something MBs, so it is not possible to share it here. I can share one another book to you, which is also a good book. So you can use that book to have insight into these signals and these pins and all about this 885 microprocessor. Okay. So anybody having any doubt, I am giving you 2-3 minutes to remind the things. You can ask. Anybody? Can anybody tell me that what is the clock frequency of 885 microprocessor? What is the clock frequency of 885 microprocessor? Rahul, what is the clock frequency of 885 microprocessor? No. Shivani, yes, it is 3 megahertz, or to be very precise, it is 3.07 megahertz. Okay. Uh, Now, Abhijit, please tell me that what is the interval of one clock period of 885 microprocessor? Microseconds. 320 microseconds. Okay. Or it is 320 nanoseconds. It is 320 nanoseconds. Yes. Okay. How many hardware interrupts are available in 885 microprocessor? Komal, how many hardware interrupts are available in 885 microprocessor? Yes, what are the names? Hmm. 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 Okay. Anything else anyone wants to ask? Okay. So we are signing off for today. Thank you.